someplace else or send them back to Venezuela. I don't care where they go. This is wrong. You got 73% of the people homeless in this city are black people. What have you done for them?
There were lots of fireworks over the migrants moving into the Lakeshore Hotel for 6 months, where 300 can be housed. Also, the city says it's a fluid situation, and it will need to revisit that timeline.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Guys, I got to do a follow-up video to 2 videos that I did yesterday. Yes, in this video, you're getting a 2-for-1 because the topics are somewhat related, right? As we have to talk about the illegal immigration crisis that has found itself in the inner liberal cities. And these people are boohoo, whining, and complaining about having too many illegals in their cities, okay? And they're upset about it. And again, they've been revolting against the Democrats in their city that they voted for over their sanctuary city policies. And the 2 cities that we talked about the most when it comes to the boohoo, whining, and crying is New York and Chicago. Today, we have to go back out to Chicago as black residents who, you know, at a 90+% clip voted for Joe Biden, and they are responsible for Brandon Johnson becoming mayor of that city, who is very pro-illegal immigration into the city. He thinks that, you know, black people should be forced to share their resources and spend their tax dollars on illegal immigrants before black people even get help in that city, right? Especially when it comes to the issue of crime. Yeah, black Chicagoans voted that guy in, right? And now, again, they're boohoo, whining, and crying, demanding that the illegals be sent back to Venezuela instead of being integrated into their communities. Take a look.
80 to 100 people being sent right now.
A heated response tonight from a Southside community where hundreds of migrants are about to be moved.
Yeah, it's happening in Hyde Park. Tia Ewing has the explosive meeting tonight.
2 buses showed up in the city of Chicago today carrying migrants, and we know at least for the week there's been 4 that have arrived here. And this is not the first time that migrants will call Hyde Park home. 120 lived at the Lakeshore Hotel in January and also March. Most residents didn't know anything about it, and this is the first time they are sounding off.
I don't want them there. Take them someplace else or send them back to Venezuela. I don't care where they go. This is wrong. You got 73% of the people homeless in this city are black people. What have you done for them?
There were lots of fireworks over the migrants moving into the Lakeshore Hotel for 6 months, where 300 can be housed. Also, the city says it's a fluid situation, and it will need to revisit that timeline. Even the alderman, Desmond Yancey of the 5th Ward, says he just found out about it last week.
I found out on Wednesday, called a meeting immediately. I don't know what happened before I got here. But in the spirit of transparency, this is why we're in the room, because I felt it was important for community members to know what was going on in their neighborhood, even if the mayor's office wasn't willing to.
It was standing room only inside the promontory. Residents had a lot of questions about police patrols, the change noticed in communities where migrants currently are, and the future plans for dealing with the migrant crisis.
Plymouth Court in Van Buren, that site looks like basically a bomb went off. So I'm concerned about the sites where the migrants are.
We have shelter rules that we implement across the sites.
New arrivals must wait 150 days to apply for a work permit. Those on the front line of dealing with this crisis says part of the solution is getting migrants seeking asylum work.
Without some remedies from the federal action, whether it's funding or the ability for folks to work, we find ourselves in a hole.
And despite the overall response from residents, come this Friday, that is the earliest that migrants will start moving into the hotel. From Hyde Park, Tia Ewing, Fox 32, Chicago.
Yeah, so according to the left's own arguments, that sounds like a whole lot of hate and bigotry, right? Because this is the same type of stuff that you've heard people in red states at the border say. Hey, send them back, right? We don't want them here. We can't afford it. We don't want a group of migrant men being placed across the street from our children, okay? Because a lot of these migrants are just dudes, okay? Honestly, I wouldn't rage against it so much if they actually just sent their women, right? If it was just young Venezuelan women, I'd be like, hey, It is what it is, right? As long as they can't vote, it's fine, right? but because it's mostly men, right? Mostly men. Nah, bro, y'all got to go back, okay? Which is exactly what they're not saying, okay? This is exactly what the Democrats refuse to do, which in my opinion is much cheaper and much more efficient than housing them there, spending billions of dollars like they're spending in New York to deal with this crisis, when literally you can spend a fraction of that to just send them back to Venezuela. I'm so serious. I mean, look, here's the thing. They're probably going to be better off trying to resettle in some other country like Colombia, Panama, right? Mexico. Let them settle there, okay? Where, you know, hey, at the end of the day, they all speak the same language, okay? They're all somewhat ethnically similar. You know, there's less friction. Putting them in a community of people who don't want them there, I don't think that that's actually going to be a good idea in the long term, right? I think that's going to breed a whole lot of animosity that's going to cause problems and is going to contribute to crime, okay? But then again, hey, you know, this is what these people voted for. This is what they voted for, okay? This is what they voted for. And now these people are the biggest advocates of closing the border. Honestly, that should be the biggest issue of the 2024 election, okay? All these people in these liberal cities upset with the border. Democrats definitely don't believe in closing the border. They should vote for a candidate that's actually going to try to secure the border. And that president is Donald J. Trump, okay? Who, at least under him, we didn't have this crisis. But we'll see. Until then, again, this is a you get what you vote for type of situation. Now, we got to move on to another story that still is about the illegal immigration crisis, because Greg Abbott has been sending illegals not just to New York and Chicago, but he's now started sending them to LA. And now the Democrats over there, seeing what is happening in Chicago and New York, have said, oh, hell no, we're not going to let that happen to us. We're actually going to try to have criminal charges levied against you. So Democrats in LA are trying to levy criminal charges. They're trying to press for criminal charges against Greg Abbott, aka they're trying to throw the man in jail for sending illegals to their city. Take a look.
Another bus carrying asylum seekers has arrived in Southern California from Texas. This is the 11th bus to arrive in Los Angeles in a matter of months. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda has the latest from Chinatown.
The latest bus from Texas carrying migrants from south of the border arrived in Los Angeles this morning. Some were brought here to St. Anthony Croatian Catholic Church. Among them, these people from Venezuela. This is the 11th bus since June 14th sent here by Governor Greg Abbott of Texas.
Right now, he's going to continue. There's no reason for him to stop because his poll numbers are actually going sky high the more he sends folks to L.A.
Now, L.A. City Council members want an investigation. They want the attorneys general of the U.S. and California to see if Governor Abbott is committing crimes such as human trafficking or kidnapping when he sends these buses across state lines.
You know, we believe this has got to be definitely immoral, but very likely illegal. And we want the state to confront them and go to the federal government and say, hey, you got to manage this. We cannot have a free-for-all, one state against another.
Abbott says the Texas border region is overwhelmed by immigrants and blames President Biden for not securing the border. One bus came here during last week's storm.
This was unprecedented. We had called for an emergency status, and he sent them through the eye of a hurricane, knowing that there were toddlers and children in that bus.
And as the city begins its investigation, officials say all they can do is wait until Texas sends its next bus here to Los Angeles.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Again, you heard that. Okay? Democrats basically want to investigate and see if they can have Greg Abbott arrested, face criminal charges for sending them illegals. And this, my friends, is why I made that video yesterday about Brian Kemp in Georgia and those Republicans down there, the Patriots that tried to move to have Fannie Pack Willis, the corrupt Soros-backed DA going after Trump, to have her defunded or to have her impeached. This is why I said that Brian Kemp stopping that effort, the Republicans there, this is what separates Democrats and Republicans. There was no doubt in my mind that Democrats were in the same situation as Republicans are in Georgia. Democrats would have at the very least launched an investigation to see if there was any corruption going on with Fannie Willis, or they just would have went the whole mile and just tried to impeach her, right? Or had her defunded. This move right here from Democrats in LA proves my point. What are they doing? They're like, you know what? We're going to have this man arrested, right? We're going to try to lock up our political opponents because they're sending us illegals. They're sending the border to our cities. They're doing exactly what we claim that we want. We want more illegals. We're a sanctuary city. Illegals are welcome here. This is what they say. Until they actually get the illegals, and now all of a sudden, they hate illegals so much that they want to arrest the governor that is sending them the illegals. Democrats don't give a damn. When are people going to understand that? They don't care. If you cross them, they will try to have you arrested. Meanwhile, Republicans want to play nice, right? Republicans want to be above it. Let's wait. We think this is unconstitutional, so we're not going to do it. We're just not even going to try. This is what Brian Kemp was talking about in Georgia. We're not even going to try. Democrats don't give a damn whether or not they think it's constitutional or unconstitutional. We'll do it and let the courts decide, right? And if the courts say, nah, it's unconstitutional, we're going to try to do it anyways, right? Again, right or wrong, clearly what the Democrats are doing is wrong, but you can't say that they don't try. You can't say that they easily fold and back down from their radical agenda. No, they go out of their way. They do everything that they can to implement their radical agenda, even as far as, again, trying to have their political opponents arrested. And you thought that it would stop with Trump? Hell no, it's not stopping with Trump. No. They're now going after Greg Abbott for sending them illegals, for doing something that they swear up and down they want. This is why I try to say the Republican Party is weak, right? I look at what the Democrats do and I'm like, damn, that's what a party that's strong. This is what they do, right? They don't give a damn. They're not playing by the rules. And Republicans don't even have no cojones to say, you know what? We need to stop playing by the rules. We cannot defeat somebody that's not playing by the rules by playing by the rules. You can't. You got to fight fire with fire. Because Democrats are not going to turn it down. They're going to turn it up. They see what's happening to Trump. They're going to try to take him out of the race. I'm basically convinced that it is highly likely that we see at least a couple states take Trump completely off the ballot. It's getting to that point now where I'm like, yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to do that. Again, meanwhile, Republicans in Georgia, oh, well, we can't even investigate whether or not this persecution against Trump in Georgia at the hands of Fannie Willis, a Democrat operative who campaigned on going after Trump. We can't even investigate whether or not, there might be some collusion between, the federal government and Jack Smith and some of these other projects. We can't even investigate it, right? We can't even investigate it. And then you wonder why Democrats are able to win and to accumulate power. It's because Republicans roll over. They're not willing to do what Democrats are willing to do. And that's just that. I mean, that, again, for good or bad, right? Whether you agree or disagree with it, because there's an argument to be made that, hey, Republicans stand above the fray, it'll help them get votes, right? If Republicans don't win in 2024, right? If they don't take back the House and the Senate, I'm not sure how you can make this argument that being above it all actually helps Republicans at all. Didn't seem to help them too much in the midterms, okay? Didn't really seem to help them too much. It seems to me that just the American people don't give a damn about dirty politics. They just allow Democrats to do whatever, and they're never punished for it. So at some point, you got to say, well, damn, if they're allowed to get away with it, we should just do it too, because they're going to just keep turning it up. They're not going to stop. They're not stopping with Trump. Now they're going after Greg Abbott. They're going to go after Ron DeSantis. Democrats are not going to stop. They've set a new precedent. Republicans, at least some of them, so it seems, are naive enough to believe that they won't be next, right? They're not going to be next to be thrown in jail, right? Over, politics. And don't get me wrong. I don't want it to be like this. It shouldn't be like this, okay? Politics shouldn't be like this. We shouldn't be locking up and arresting our political opponents, over political reasons, right? We shouldn't be doing that. Obviously, that shouldn't happen in this country. I don't want to live in a banana republic. However, when one side of the aisle has shown that they're willing to do whatever, they don't give a damn about the Constitution. They don't care about, maintaining any real democracy in this country. Okay, they really don't care about democracy. If they don't care about that, then at some point you have to fight fire with fire in order to bring it back to an equilibrium, right, where it's supposed to be. Otherwise, you're just giving the other side permission just to continue being tyrannical. And they're just not going to stop. Again, it's just, it's crazy to behold the difference between how Republicans and Democrats operate. It really is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.